It's
They
like,
did.
so they got a 2-for-1 special.
That's what we sold it as.
Wow.
We didn't hurt you. We saved you in the
know,
long run, because this
right.
could have happened when we weren't all here
Exactly.
on a weekend or something that
Right.
really would have caused damage
man.
to the company.
Can't make this stuff up, right?
Yeah.
And that's Mike's point, is you never know. You try to plan to the best of your ability, but you have to be ready for curveballs, because they will come, especially in older enterprises like
and
you're
that's
talking about.
when you know you're doing it.
Right.
It's worse when you don't.
Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to the Cyber Sitrep.
There we go.
See, you didn't say the that time.
I know.
You said it last time, and then I said it, and just kind of crossing ships in the night.
I know.
Hi, Mike.
I think they know who we are, I hope.
That's true, right?
And
right.
those who are following, still Hawaiian Shirt Day.
He didn't give me the memo, everybody. I'm kind of upset.
We got to get them built.
Yeah, we do, because I got to find the vendor for that was awesome. I love that shirt. It's great.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, Mike, you're a gossip hound, right?
Yeah, I do.
So,
I'm following all the news.
Yeah, so
fit the print.
Yeah, so it's everywhere, right? Looking at all of our topics, and we have a lot of discrete one-off topics, and we're like, we need to do a couple of recurring topics.
Yeah.
So this is the first of these, right? We're calling it What We've Been Hearing. This is episode 1.
Yep.
I don't know, depending on your feedback, we can do it quarterly, we can do it twice a year.
Yeah.
You let us know the frequency, and we'll go from there. But basically, it's a collection of intelligence from all the different areas that we have access
It is
to.
truly the cyber situational report.
It really is.
The Cyber Sitrep.
That's a great point. Yeah. Of all the ones, this is definitely it.
Yeah.
We hit our core topic, right?
Yeah.
So with that.
So one of the first things that I saw this week fly by my screen, I subscribe to a lot of information boards and cybersecurity boards and security alerts. Mm-hmm. And as a member of what used to be called the CompTIA industry panel is now their GTIA.
Oh, wow.
Because the CompTIA, the certification, is now separate from the nonprofit body.
Got it.
So we're still part of the nonprofit body. I get these reports. And the thing that came up was that FTP breaches, so file transfer protocol.
I almost had them. I thought I was going to get a quarter.
No.
But you defined
it's
it.
going on port 2021 for those that want to know the port. The breaches are still being found with passwords such as admin 123456, root, password, admin 123. So after all this time, and there's two things that this brings up for me as a frustration point. Number one, FTP is not secure. It's all clear text.
It's dead.
And
why are we still using FTP?
It's dead.
And I thought when you were typing up the notes, I thought you typoed it. I thought you were joking me there for a second, going okay, because I thought he meant to say secure file transfer protocol, right, which is encrypted. But no, you're talking about regular plain Jane FTP.
It is still a very high attack vector.
Wow.
So, and from my own experience, adding an experience to what we've heard, we do pen tests and scannings. There are many servers that have FTP on. Wow. They're not using it.
Right.
Thus, you probably will find a admin or an admin 1234 or something.
Talk about unforced
because it's
error.
a service just running that they haven't shut off.
Right. Which would then, so once again, if you put your evil hat on, because you're the maestro of evil, if they've got FTP running, then you're thinking, well, what else do they have running that's unsecure, right?
Exactly.
Because obviously they didn't configure and harden that box. So that means it's probably plain Jane vanilla, default passwords, default accounts, which makes us very happy.
We're getting in. Yeah, and there's so many vulnerabilities against FTP, which is why we don't use it anymore, and it's now secure, that we might be able to even take over your box just using that channel, that FTP channel.
Wow.
And it just baffled my mind that the report came through, and they're like, yep, number one is these passwords. So their number one was split between admin and 123456 as a password.
Wow, and only 6 characters instead of 12, or 15.
The story went deeper and talked about that most had under 10 characters.
Wow.
So there was more to it, but just the title, the grab that they sent with this
that'll get your attention for sure.
Was like FTP is still vulnerable, and it's admin and 123456.
Wow.
For those who were stronger than 1, 2, 3, 4, they were like, I did a 5 and a 6.
Well, right, and then the hackers movie God, right?
Yep.
God is on awful late.
Yep.
This evening. I'm sure those are out there as well.
And QWERTY was another one, which is the keyboard pattern.
Yep. Nice. Nice. Wow.
So yeah, they're out there.
In this day and age, we just still haven't learned.
That's right.
That's crazy.
That's right. So like what we do with our clients is we send out an intel report.
Yeah.
Like when we receive them.
Which we're a customer. We love reading those. Thank you for that service. It's great.
And then we also send something called a cyber bite. That's on our LinkedIn. But these are the things, this is where we get that information from. It's stuff we're hearing.
Oh, and if I could just do a hat tip to you on that, if people want to get the cyber bite, can they reach out to you and get added to your distro list for that?
Absolutely. Yep. We can put you on it. And if you follow us on LinkedIn, the company page, Digital Beachhead on LinkedIn, we post them all there as well.
Awesome. Great. Free resource.
Yeah.
No obligation.
And I have to give a shout out to my wife then, since I mentioned cyber bite. It's BYTE.
Yes.
Because it's a bite of information. She came up with
Not
that.
a nibble, but a bite.
That's right. Exactly.
Side's joke, sorry.
Yeah. Not a bit. Not a nibble, not a bit. It's a bite.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, she came in one day and said, hey, you want to do this, why don't you call them cyber bites? And I was like, copyright.
God, I love you. Yes, God, I love you.
I did say that too. Yeah, I was like, you're getting good dinner tonight.
Nice. We're going to Red Lobster. No, it's probably not a good restaurant
not
for
now,
you.
No.
Yeah, not now anymore.
No.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and we'll talk about that at the end too.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. Yeah. So that was just one thing we've heard.
That is crazy.
Coming out.
But wait, there's more.
There are more. So another thing I heard. Something I heard this week. This is real world. We got to actually see it in action.
Oh, man.
For those of you who know cyber insurance exists, you can get cyber insurance for your company.
We had another Sitrep on that, I believe.
We did. Yeah. We did. Well, there's a cyber insurance company that will remain nameless, and their brokerages that are doing something that initially sounds fantastic, which is we'll give you a discounted rate up to 50% if you have this pen test done. And on the outskirt, that sounds great.
Yeah,
do a pen test.
Awesome.
We know you're secure. We'll give you a discount on your cyber insurance because you're probably more.
Independent third party, right? Somebody that they contracted to be the pen tester.
Independent third party.
Okay, we're good so far. We haven't lost cabin pressure yet.
Right. You're thinking this is a great idea.
Wait for it.
How we discovered this was they told the executives not to tell the IT team.
There it is.
That's the problem.
Yeah, there it is.
So the executives created, through their normal creation channels, HR channels, a user. But this user wasn't real. It was a user they were making up and giving certain permissions because that's where the pen test company was going to come in.
And once again, the IT team was not aware of that whatsoever.
Unaware.
Right?
They just created the account.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like, no, we've got Bob Jones, and here's his computer system. He's going to need remote access, so we've set that up for them, just like they would any employee within their company.
Sure.
But then the next day, bells and whistles, all alarms, this computer from this new employee is probing everything. So, of course, it was shut down. People are like, IT teams in a panic because, oh my God, we've been breached by who is this new employee?
Right.
Why are they doing this? Only to find out that the executive was like, no, I authorize that.
Oh, boy.
That's a pen test team. You got to let them do their job.
Oh, boy.
And that's when the chaos hits because, do they do their job? Don't they do their job?
Yeah, and once again, everybody, no notice pen tests are a thing, but they have to be done carefully and coordinated properly, and I think that's what you're going to get to here in just a minute.
That's exactly it.
It really didn't happen in this case, and it put the company in a lot of jeopardy and risk unnecessarily, right?
And that, it's a smaller organization, so they don't have a huge department in IT, but they didn't tell anyone. And I'm like, you should tell someone, so that way when it goes off and everyone starts to panic, the person who does know can say, aha.
Right.
Let them do their thing. We know who it is.
Right.
This is all authorized. Instead of calling like the FBI and going, we're under attack.
Well, the good news, I guess, the silver lining here, Mike, is it sounds like their IT team was Spot on. Yep. Good job, man.
Yep.
Catching that, escalating, doing everything that they were supposed to do.
They ran through their entire IR plan. They isolated, they eliminated.
They squashed it, huh? Yeah, nice.
But the elimination is where then the president went how come our pen test team can't get in to do their work so we can get 50% off?
Oh, no. So they tried to get in, the IT team thwarted the effort, and then the insurance company still wouldn't give them the discount.
Well, they're going to have to do the pen tests like legitimately now. But now we're going to have to do something called scoping, where this is what you can
Rules
touch.
Of engagement. Right.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I told them to, just calm down. Think of it as a 2-phase operation. Phase 1 was you wanted to give a no-notice test. Instead of thinking, wow, it all went wrong, say, no, it went right.
It went perfect.
It got stopped in its tracks.
Yes.
So if that was an actual intruder, nothing would have happened.
Sounds like they need a raise.
Phase 2,
folks.
exactly. Yeah. And phase 2 now is, okay, we now are aware that you want to do a pen test, so let's scope it properly, do the pen test.
Right.
We can watch what you do.
Right.
Not stop you,
and
but
not
watch
come
what you
in
do.
And club you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you can have
That's
your
fair.
report for the 50%. So, but that's what I feel my job is 90% of the time now. I call it the interpreter between the executives and the IT team.
We already call that another sitrep. You're the CEO whisperer.
The CEO whisperer. That's when I get them out from under the desk.
Exactly. An additional duty, right?
Yep.
You still have to educate the C-level on that. Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that could have gone a lot worse than it did.
Could have been terrible, but it was just something I heard and made me think of this topic and having this episode, because
and then
that can happen. If they did it with this company, they're probably going to do it to other companies.
And to your point, you were also, I don't know how much detail you want to share, but there were some concerns over the rules of engagement, how those were written, and the citizenship and nationality of the parties involved, and if there was anything there that could have gotten the company in trouble.
Exactly.
If they had anything that was sensitive they needed to protect, right?
There's a reason if you're doing pen testing, you need to have a good rule of engagement. You got to have a great scope.
The ROE has to be ironclad. Rule of engagement.
We had a former client, and we happened to bring down their badging system.
Ooh, fun day.
Now it was in scope. We were lucky.
Right.
They didn't realize how old and fragile it was.
Oops.
And basically, a couple of pings brought it down.
Wow.
And it was down. They had to buy a new one. They had to get a whole new system.
Oh, wow. You killed it for real.
Killed it for real. And what they found out was, we don't have the software. The manufacturer's out of business. I guess we got to go get someone to buy a new
So
door
they
badging
exercised
system.
their contingency plan as well, it sounds like. So they got a 2-for-1 special.
That's what we sold it as.
Wow.
We didn't hurt you. We saved you in the long run, because this could have happened when we weren't all here.
Exactly.
On a weekend or something that really would have caused damage to the company.
You can't make this stuff up, right? Yeah. And that's Mike's point, is you never know. You try to plan to the best of your ability, but you have to be ready for curveballs, because they will come, especially in older enterprises like you're talking about.
When you know you're doing it. It's worse when you don't.
Right. We had a similar one. We were doing it was a blue team, so it was all above board. They knew what we were doing, and we brought down a segment of their network because our scanner was just a tad too aggressive. Yep. But in other environments, it's no issue, but they had some antiquated networking gear that just
running on Windows 95.
Yeah, you just couldn't keep up. So it just gave up the ghost. Now, and thankfully, a reboot, fixed it. But and we turned the scanner off, obviously. But not nearly as interesting as your story. So,
but these are
as per usual.
Yeah, these are things we hear. These are things that are out there.
No, right.
And so my last point is I want to talk about CMMC, the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification.
Near and dear to our hearts.
That's right. So for those that are in the Department of Defense contracting space, this is, that regulation is coming down the pike, making you get assessed. They recently had a CUI-Con,
nice.
Controlled Unclassified Information Con, and the head of the DoD IT, the CIO,
Mm-hmm.
She came out. And she was pretty clear. If you think this is going away,
you're wrong.
It is not. Her major point was, you were told, the defense industry-based companies, in 2012 you had to meet 800-171, the NIST control. So you've been signing off that you have either
and that's fair. She's
totally been done
right.
or partially done. But
right.
From 2012, you were supposed to have been working towards completion. So if you kick that can down the road, you kick the can, and legally so. But now she's like, no more can kicking. This is a rule. This is going to be law. You're going to have to do it. And she was very
here we go.
upfront about it, making comments such as, do you think China isn't watching LinkedIn to hear you complain about CMMC?
Yeah, that's a great point.
And if you're complaining about CMMC, who do you think their number one target's going to be?
Exactly.
The people who say they can't meet the standard that was set in 2012.
Brutal.
So
yeah, in that context, I totally agree with her. That's just spilling all your vulnerabilities out there, right?
Whether you like CMMC or think CMMC is wrong or it's too expensive, those are all valid arguments.
So the point is, don't broadcast it to the world, right? That
if you're
not
upset,
compliant.
Exactly, because you were supposed to have been compliant. You've been signing off at some level of compliance.
That's really good intel. That's good to know. So
and I personally hadn't had that thought. That if I was, normally I'm thinking like a bad guy, but I would to troll the LinkedIn chat rooms where people are like, this is terrible, I can't get it done, I'm not going to do it. What you're saying is I'm not going to meet compliance.
Right.
So you're target number one.
No wrong answer here, but I know before we started this recording, we were talking about one other nuance with, bringing the government to bear. Do you want to talk about that, or is that a bridge too far for this sitrep?
That they're going to go after?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're going to see an uptick, I think, in, and we've seen it, again, something I've seen. We've seen more false claim acts against companies. I'm seeing maybe one a month now that are popping up. And what that is the Department of Defense is going in and saying, you said you were compliant with 800, 171 rule sets, and either you were breached or there was a whistleblower or something happened, and we find out you're not.
Right.
They're getting $1 million fines, multiple $1 million fines.
And barred from doing business.
And then possibly barred. That's one of the possible outcomes, barred from doing business with the DOD. So her message was almost like, get over yourselves.
Right.
It's coming.
Right.
You've been telling me, the DOD, you've been good for years.
Valid point. It's something we've been telling our customers all along is, even though CMMC hasn't been activated yet, 171's been around since 2012. So you're already supposed to be doing those 110 things. CMMC adds a level of nuance and complexity to that.
It does.
But at the same time, the base controls are the base controls. So,
there's basically no complaint.
That's good to know.
And she's like, there's no complaint, and I have a stick.
Right, and once again, she's an appointee, so she's not going anywhere.
Not at all.
For a while.
She was around when CMMC started.
She was the one of the progenitors of CMMC, right? One of the champions for it.
And was very clear to say, Trump
very much
1,
her baby, right?
It started.
Yes.
Trump 2, it's going to be implemented.
Exactly.
So legacy. She literally
think
compared
legacy
them.
People, and you got it, right? So just get ready, please. That's public service announcement. Get ready. It's coming.
What we heard.
Yep, that's what we heard. I don't know it for a fact. I just know it's true.
That's
right?
what I heard.
Bill Maher, I love that guy. Okay, so I have one to contribute that I was looking at, and that's these darn smishing attacks. There's been a big update, right?
Smishing is SMS texting,
short message service.
But like phishing
get me for a quarter.
Yeah, but phishing,
but through your text,
SMS and text,
right, and it just won't die. It's a zombie, right? If you're fortunate enough in your state to have toll roads, right,
which we are,
we have a lot of toll roads. Do good stuff for us. That's neither here nor there. Point is, a company called EasyPass is the company that administers those tolls.
That's right.
And so you sign up, you get an account, you get a tag, a sticker. Not even that now. They just look at your license plate, right?
Yep.
And so you can buy credits, you can pay as you go, et cetera. Well, these industrious smishers are impersonating EasyPass, letting you know that you've got a past due balance.
That's right. You better pay that toll.
And it's just nefarious, right? And what makes it really evil is, one, it's been going on for quite a while, since last year. It's still going on, so it must mean it's working because it's still happening. And what really makes it, in my opinion, evil genius is the amount that they want from you isn't that much, but then they put in that fear of loss in there, right? Social Engineering, catch our other podcasts. Check out Chris Hadniggy's site, socialengineer.org. All the stuff you want to know there. But they say, hey, you only owe us $5. But if you don't pay it within 7 days, we're going to tack on a $35 late fee, right? So there's that lizard brain kicking in. Oh, I'm going to have to pay $40 instead of $5, right?
And because it's coming over SMS, you're not getting a full URL. It's just a quick little
abbreviated URL, right?
Yep.
So you click on that, or you will get it, but it looks close, but it's not quite. It's off by a couple of characters,
exactly.
right? So and then you click on that. Long story short, you go to a malicious website that looks like a real site. You put in your credit card information, and now they're off to the races with their credit card. Right?
Exactly.
And I just can't
$5.
believe. Right. And there's been other variants, right? But there's been a big uptick in smishing between the end of last year and this year.
It is coming in waves now.
Man, huge waves.
So in the audience, anyone, if you've gotten an SMS, I get them weekly.
Yeah, which brings me to the next point. Situational awareness, right? Like we've got, right? And you had mentioned you're signed up for multiple threat feeds, intel sharing. What's the Information Sharing Analysis Center, right?
Yep.
Or Intelligence Sharing Analysis Center, ISACs.
Yep.
That you're part of. Point is be like us, sign up for some of those, right?
Right.
There's too many to mention in this Sitrep. We may name drop a few as we go. One of the ones that you can look at for the smishing is actually, it's a federal entity. It's called the Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC Cubed, and it's actually ran by the FBI, right? Federal Bureau of Investigation. And why they have that site, it's for a couple of reasons. The main reason is to be able to give citizens a way to report crimes that happen to them that their local law enforcement may not be savvy to be able to address, right?
And they can build a big picture on it.
Then there's the other part, right? Is so you get to report that. The last time we had talked to a special agent here in Colorado, the absolute minimum threshold for them to be able to help you directly was at least $5,000 a loss, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that number's gone up since then.
Yeah,
and it's a lot higher.
Higher now for FBI.
Yeah, well, because they're a constrained resource, right? So understand that. But the IC Cube site allows, to your point, if multiple people are submitting the same kind of threat vector that hit them, the FBI will take notice of that. They look for trends and patterns. And
I lost $5, you lost $5, but then they realize 100 million people in the U.S. lost $5. It's now a big case.
Yeah, and when you put it together and aggregate, now all of a sudden you have a monetary value that they can justify the resource to go out and investigate that and prosecute it and bring those people to justice, right? So it's a great resource. There's tons of other ones out there. Check that out. They have the public service announcements that will walk you through. They're not all cyber related, but most of them are, including the smishing one I was just talking about, right? That's where I went. But there's other resources. And then ideally, you can cross-reference those with your other sites that you belong to see trends and everything yourself,
exactly.
Right?
You can pick up what you're seeing going across multiple channels.
Right. And so, sign up for Mike's free Cyber Bite.
That's right.
That's one great resource. You pull yours from all the
different sources,
agencies. He's got a lot of government stank on the ones you pull from, which is great.
We're connected with the Secret Service fraud task force.
I was hoping you would name drop that. So really good intel, totally free. Other resources, if you're not a fan of Mike, which I get, the shirt's kind of loud. Commercial resources, CrowdStrike's another great one out there. Talos Intelligence, which is owned by Cisco.
Yep.
They have great SANS Internet Storm Center. You name it. There's too many to list. And in the comments, if you guys have your favorite, let us know, and we may do a shout out for it. Right? Maybe one that we already know about and use all the time, and it may be something completely new that we haven't experienced before. We're always looking for new sources of intel, right?
Exactly.
It's just our nature. We can't help ourselves.
Exactly, and that's something we heard.
Yeah. I love it. Something we heard. You just say that so casually. I love it.
It's just something we heard.
Well, that's episode 1 of this. Let us know what kind of frequency you have. If you guys hear anything that's really cool that you want to share, maybe we then get that fed into your Cyber Bite.
Drop it in our comments.
Yeah, and we'll broadcast it to the world once we vet it and make sure that it's true. So.
Well, if you tell us, then it's something we heard.
That's true. Well, a little bit bigger standard in your Cyber Bite, right?
That's right.
Yeah, no rumor intelligence there, right?
No rumor. Just all stuff we've read.
Right, all factual. So anyway, with that, everybody, thank you for attending this Sitrep, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
See you next time. Bye. Hey, remember to like and follow us here on our podcast and YouTube channel. And we are coming to you from the Studio 809 Community Podcast Studio at the Next Us, which is a professional cooperative environment for small businesses here in downtown Colorado Springs. You should check them out.
Come check it out.